Can you further expand what you mean by spiritual consciousness?
Yeah, there's a lot of debate about what consciousness is and the nature of consciousness. I think that this is a hangover from the 19th century when scientism, not proper science, began to say, okay, we're going to cut spirit out of the equation.
Yeah.
We didn't want any competition. And that's where psychology came from as a replacement concept. So in all cultures, in whatever shape or form they've existed, they've accepted that we are spiritual beings, that we interact and have interrelationships with other spiritual beings, and a whole spectrum of seen and unseen. And for most cultures, there is some overriding principle, some divine consciousness, and we are part of that. The movement through various movements led to an idea that no, not only should there be no religion, but you don't have any spiritual consciousness. And now it's going so far as to say consciousness doesn't exist, that you're some kind of accidental combination of forces that just happened, and that therefore you don't really have any rights or anything as a consequence of that. So if there has been a move to take spiritual consciousness away, and people like Rudolf Steiner have argued that in future they will they will vaccinate against.
Yeah, he predicted
spiritual
everything that's
Yeah,
going on now.
he was saying this in the 1910.
He predicted
So
exactly what's going on
yeah,
now.
so it's a long history. So the reason why that is necessary for them is because spiritual consciousness is the triumphant force that we have. We are born with it's our nature, and a lot of our education is intent on taking away the fundamental power that we have. So in the context that you talk about in relation to feminine force or the goddess or whatever, a lot of that's not something that's made. That's something that is there. But the scientific mindset wants to confuse us and wants to belittle us and wants to reduce us, because they know that spiritual consciousness is the most powerful force. It will triumph over other forces. And that's why we have to be drawn into a kind of maya, an illusion that we don't have this power, and we have to be compartmentalized. So as you suggested from your question, it's our agency comes from there. And not only does it come from there, but the development of spiritual consciousness opens us up as receivers to wisdom, which is beyond rational force, through intuition, through the power of synchronicity, through other forms. We can access higher levels of perception that can be directly relevant to our negotiation of the world. And this spiritual consciousness is much more intelligent than the greatest artificial intelligence can ever be. It is much more creative. It is because it is part of the forces that have created all the other things. It is the sum is greater than the parts. So spiritual consciousness is what we have, and the greatest failing. It's not complex. The greatest failing that I see, and I see among friends, is that they won't take the first step in realizing that they're spiritual beings. That a lot of people find it hard now, and especially brought up in certain mindsets, to understand that the reality that they are spiritual beings. They find that difficult. It's been educated out of a lot of people. And once you begin to understand that you're a spiritual being with spiritual consciousness, there are the gifts of spiritual consciousness which are accessed and begin to develop. And all cultures refer to this, and there's different levels. The cities in the Indian context, for example, there are spiritual gifts in traditional Christian, the Holy Spirit or the Great Spirit. There's these ideas that the powers are given to you when you commit yourself to the spiritual path. Or if you want to put it another way, on the hero's journey, you have to commit yourself to the journey with all the dangers, and then the helpers come. It's a strange process. It's a counterintuitive, non-transactional view of the universe. The universe is not transactional in the same sense that humans are. You do something for me, I do something for you. It's not like that. It's a deeper meaning that is unlocked if one commits oneself to the divine aspect of oneself.